lying down on our backs. I'll talk you through it because I can't really do it now because of the bump. So you're just going to lie on your backs with your knees bent and about hip distance apart. Perfect, lovely. And just allowing your shoulders and back to release into the ground. Wonderful. Perfect. And once you're lying there nice and comfortably, just take your awareness, your focus to your breath. And we start every yoga class doing this. You might be doing it already. So as you're inhaling in, just expanding your stomach. And as you exhale, softening it down, releasing. And inhaling, just drawing that breath all the way through your body, bringing a little bit of energy and awareness to both body and mind. And then as you exhale, just softening, releasing down into the mat. And just taking this moment to feel the ground beneath you, just allowing your body to be held. Wonderful. And then when we're ready, nice and gently, and you can have your eyes closed or open for this, we're going to draw our knees up, and then placing our hands on our knees, we're going to just start to hug our knees up towards our chest, bringing hands on knees. We're going to then just start to circle our knees round. So drawing circles with the knees, wonderful, good. Just massaging the lower back, perfect. And taking this moment, just noticing how your back feels. And just using it as a little massage. Wonderful. And then when we're ready, in your own time, taking the circling the other way. And this can be quite a good chance for you to just notice any areas of tension. And you just want to keep breathing, keeping your lower back nice and soft. Exhaling into it and not forcing the circles. Wonderful. And then when we're ready, we're going to do a little bit of happy baby. So only if it feels comfortable, we're going to open our knees nice and wide, and then popping your hands in between your legs if you can. Just take a hold of your big toes with your fingers coming into happy baby. Wonderful. And then if it feels comfy, fabulous, yeah, you've got it. You're just going to kick and rock side to side, whatever feels good. We're just getting into our hips. So there's no right or wrong way to do this. It's just whatever feels good calls to you. Lovely, good. And your hips might be feeling wonderfully open, or they might be feeling a little bit tense or a little bit sore. So just listening to them. Perfect. And we're going to keep doing that for a couple more breaths. Just rocking, kicking, bringing movement in. Wonderful. Perfect. And then when we're ready, nice and gently, we're going to place both feet nice and wide to the edges of our mat, down on the ground, and we're going to quickly do some windscreen wipers before we get started. So just allowing your knees to rock side to side, left to right, just stretching through your legs and your hips. And the range of movement, it doesn't matter if your knees touch the ground or they don't, but you want to keep your shoulders in the ground the whole time. So we're not basically upsetting our body. We're not drawing our shoulders up and overstretching through our back. So we want to keep shoulders in the ground and just allowing the knees to rock. Perfect. Lovely. Just waking up the body. Wonderful. And then when we're ready, nice and gently, we're going to bring the knees back to center, and then just hugging them in. You're just going to hug your knees into your chest. Perfect. And then rocking or rolling however way you want, you're going to make your way up to a tabletop position. You've got all the time in the world. So deep, just getting into this, this very gentle stretches today. We're going to start off just doing some circling over the knees, over the wrists, and then back down to the knees and across. So you're just almost drawing a big circle with your body. Wonderful, good. And you can, as you're doing this, you can introduce a little bit of cat-cow, but we will do cat-cow later, so don't worry too much about doing that. You're just circling through. Lovely. Taking it as big or as small as you want. And then when we're ready, we're going to take that circling the other way. So taking that circling the other direction. Wonderful. Good. Breathing into it. There we are. Just stretching through. Perfect. We're going to keep doing it for a couple more breaths. Just listening to your body. And then when you're ready, we're going to make our way back up to center. Perfect. So we're going to do a couple of little cat-cows. So all we're going to do is, as we inhale in, we're going to arch our back, lifting our gaze up, spreading our buttocks. And then as we exhale, just engaging the buttocks, drawing the navel in, rounding through the back. Lovely. And keep flowing through. And we want to feel this stretch from the base of our spine to the crown of our head. So think about the spine from the base all the way up to the crown of the head. And it's moving beautifully and fluidly. Wonderful, good. Perfect. And we're going to keep flowing through this a couple more times. And cat-cow is brilliant as a lower back stretch and hip stretch. And it also just very gently massages our digestive system. So it's quite nice to do. There we go. And then when we're ready, nice and gently, we're going to make our way back to center. So we're going to now take it a little bit deeper. We're going to do cat-cow again, but we're going to cross our knees over. So we're taking it a little bit deeper. So if you cross any leg you want over the top of the other legs, your knees are crossed. If that feels uncomfortable, you do not have to do it. And then so you're crossing your legs just like you need holding a wee. It's just like that. And then when we're ready, we're going to just do cat-cow again. So inhaling into cow, exhaling into cat. I've no idea why cow's called cow. I've never seen a cow sound like this, but it is. There we go. Good. And you'll just feel now how this stretch is going a little bit further down into the hips and into the glutes and the legs. Lovely, good. And keep flowing through this. Fabulous. You're almost imagining with every inhalation, exhalation, as your spine rises and lowers, it's just moving a bit like waves on an ocean. It's just rippling up and down. Wonderful, glorious. And then when we're ready, we're going to uncross our legs, and then we're just going to cross them the other way. Ooh, forgot about that. Sorry, you'll notice one side feels much comfier than the other. And then we'll do the same again. Equally, if you don't want to do it on one side, you don't have to. There we go. Breathing into it. Perfect. Lovely. Stretching through. And just again, using this moment, so this morning in this stretch, just to see how your body feels. Perfect. And then when we're ready, nice and gently, we're going to uncross our legs. Perfect. Coming back to center. And then softly, we're going to walk hands to knees, coming up to kneeling. Inhaling, hands up. You can just interlace the fingers and have a good stretch through. Lovely. Just giving your wrists, your hands a little break for a moment. Wonderful. And then we're going to come back to tabletop. So we're going to do a gentle calf stretch. So just stretching back with that left foot, toes on the ground. You're going to just push through the heel. We're just going to flow through this quite quickly. There we are. Lovely. And then bringing that left knee back, we're going to take it to the other side. So stretching back with that right leg, right foot. Perfect. And then bringing it back. Wonderful. So we're going to go into a little downward facing dog. But what I want us to do, we take it nice and wide. So we can take our feet and our knees to the edges of the mat, allowing your hands to go forwards. And then as we exhale, we're going to lift the hips up and back, but keeping the feet nice and wide. Lovely. Just down. Have your knees bent as much as you want. Wonderful. Now, if you want, you can softly pedal with your heels, just pedaling up and down, stretching through your calves. Wonderful. Good. Breathing into it. And then when we're ready, nice and gently, we're going to lower the knees back down to the ground, coming back into tabletop. Perfect. And then just stepping that left foot forwards, we're going to come into a nice, easy, low lunge. Wonderful. Perfect. And then just bringing ourselves upright if that feels okay. Just to stretch the hips a little bit, what I want you to think about with your low lunge is it doesn't really matter where your knee is, but we're just going to tuck the pelvis under for a moment, and then you'll feel a little bit more of a stretch. Lovely, good. And then tucking the pelvis under, you're going to gently start to stretch forwards, leaning into that left foot, that front foot. Good. Tucking the pelvis under, lovely. So you're almost imagining you're scooping your buttocks under and driving forwards. Perfect. And then when we're ready, nice and gently, we're going to come back to neutral and then popping the hands back on the ground, taking the feet wider. We're going to just gently do some little circles in the hips in this lunge. Lovely, good. Taking it as small as you want. Perfect. Breathing into it. And then when we're ready, just taking that circling the other way. Wonderful. Good. Perfect. And this again is just stretching out the hips and the lower back. And then when we're ready, nice and gently, bringing that left knee back, we're going to take it to the other side. So bringing that right foot forwards, and then bringing yourself up. Wonderful. And then same again, if it feels comfortable to do so, you're going to just tuck your pelvis under and then softly push forward with your hips. And you might notice one side, so you might really notice the stretch down your hip flexors. You might notice it down the base of your spine. That is completely okay. But what you might notice is one side finds it much harder than the other, and just be kind. So just softly pressing forwards, stretching into your hips. And then when we're ready, nice and gently coming back down, we're going to softly just do circular motions. Wonderful, good. Not taking it. There we are. Perfect. Just breathing and remembering to breathe as we're doing it. And then when we're ready, taking those circles the other way. Wonderful. Lovely. And it looks like it's set to be quite a nice day. I don't know what it's like in Scotland, but there's sun here, which there hasn't been for the last couple of days, so that's nice. There we go. And then when we're ready, wonderful, nice and gently, bringing that right knee back. And then tucking the toes under. We're going to inhale in. And then as we exhale, just lifting the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Taking your feet as wide as you want. Wonderful. Breathing into it. Perfect. And just softly pedaling with your feet, just stretching out. And then when we're ready, we're going to gently lift our heels up off the ground, rolling knees forward, taking them nice and wide to the edges of the mat. Toes together, we're going to exhale into an extended child's pose. Breathing into it, or child's pose if you prefer. Perfect. And then nice and softly, we're going to walk the hands back to the knees. And then placing that left hand back behind your hips, we're going to inhale that right hand up to a gentle back bend. Lovely. And then coming back to center, we're going to place that right hand behind the hips and then inhaling that left hand up. Lovely. Breathing into it. And then coming back to center. And then when we're ready, coming back to tabletop, tucking toes under. As we exhale, lifting the hips up and back, pedaling through. Perfect. Now, just listening to your wrists, it might be a bit early in the morning to do this, but we're going to have a look at doing a little three-legged dog, just getting into the hips again. So if it feels comfortable, you're going to inhale, lifting that left foot up, and then you're just going to start to circle with your knees in downward facing dog. Lovely, good. And then taking that circling the other way. Perfect. And then when you're ready, placing that left foot back down on the ground, stretching back into your heels. We will take it to the other side, but in a minute. Stretching back into your heels, and then lifting your heels up, reaching them up to the sky, rolling knees forward, down to the edges of the mat, toes together, and coming into extended child's pose. And every time we lower into this from downward dog, it should feel a little bit softer, a little bit easier. Wonderful. And then we're going to take that to the other side. So when we're ready, inhaling back up to tabletop, tucking the toes under. And then as we exhale, lifting the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Perfect. And then taking it to the other side. So when we're ready, inhaling, lifting that right foot up, or the foot you haven't done, and then just gently drawing circles with your knees. Perfect. Lovely. And then just drawing circles the other way. Wonderful. Breathing into it. And then when you're ready, lowering feet back down to the edges of the mat. Perfect. One last time, we're going to lower the knees. That's it, to the edges of the mat, coming back into extended child's pose. Perfect. Stretching through. And then wonderfully softly, when you're ready, we're going to inhale, pushing ourselves up. That's it. Now we're going to prop ourselves up to a kneeling position. And then all you're going to do is we're going to come into that squat. So just coming onto the balls of your feet. Wonderful, good. Perfect. And just for a moment, softly rocking side to side. Fabulous. Lovely. Just stretching through your hips and your calves. And then when we're ready, using our hands, we're going to push ourselves up to a wide-legged forward fold. So you might need to adjust your feet. Lovely. And just stretching through, so allowing your shoulders to soften, feeling that stretch. And then nice and gently bending the knees, we're going to roll the hands up the legs, coming up to standing. Perfect. And then just inhaling those hands up to the sky. Interlacing fingers, we're going to softly stretch back, gentle back bend. Lovely. And then coming back to center, we're going to release. Now we're just going to step back with that left foot coming into a nice, easy high lunge. You can have, that's it, lovely, heels off the ground. Perfect. Good. And then nice and gently, tucking the pelvis under, we're just going to inhale that right hand up and exhale, softly stretching to the left. Lovely, good. And then, I can't do that this morning. And then coming back to center, we're going to release it. And then we're going to take it to the other side. So stretching up with the left hand, stretching over to the right. Wonderful. And then coming back to center, we're going to interlace the fingers behind the back. And only if you feel comfortable to do it this morning, you're going to exhale, folding forwards. Lovely, breathing into it and pushing back into that left heel. Lovely. And then from here, that's nice, guys. We're going to come back up to center, and then we're going to step forwards with that left foot, and then we're going to take it to the other side. So stepping back with that right foot. Nice gentle high lunge, that's it, perfect. Tucking pelvis under. And then when we're ready, inhaling that left hand up. Exhaling, softly stretching to the right. Lovely. Coming back to center, releasing, and then taking it to the other side. Inhaling that right hand up. Stretching to the left, perfect. Glorious. And then coming back to center. And then same again, just interlacing those fingers behind. Interlacing behind. Feeling engaged, pressing into your feet. As we exhale, we're going to fold forwards. Wonderful. Breathing into it. Lovely. And then when we're ready, nice and gently coming back up to center. So we're going to make our way down. So just taking your feet 2 times hip width, so nice and wide. We're going to nice and softly inhale our hands up to the sky. Exhale, drawing them down through the middle. Perfect. And then we're going to nice and gently walk our hands down our legs to a wide-legged forward fold. And to really feel this stretch from the back of your hips and your legs, I want you to really think about allowing your head and your chest to go nice and heavy. You can have your knees bent, does not matter. And then you want to walk your hands back to in between your legs towards the wall behind you. So stretching back and then lengthening up, lovely, from the base of your spine. So you can almost imagine there's a golden thread attached to the base of your spine, and it's pulling your hips up, and then you're just releasing your chest and your head down. Lovely. And then from this position, we're going to walk our hands forward, and we're going to walk our feet back, coming into a really exaggerated, wide-legged, downward-facing dog. Lovely, good. Adjusting as you need to, perfect. And then breathing into it. Fabulous. And then when you're ready, nice and softly, we're going to lower the knees to the ground, bringing toes together. It'll take a little bit of adjusting. And then exhaling, sinking into your final extended child's pose. And just allowing your forehead to go nice and heavy on the ground. Wonderful. And just releasing down, taking this moment, feeling the cool, cool mat or earth beneath your forehead. And just allowing head, neck and back to release. Wonderful. And then when we're ready, nice and softly pressing into the hands, we're going to walk ourselves up. Wonderful. We're going to come in to an easy seated, cross-legged position. Fabulous. Or any position. Sorry, you do not have to have your legs crossed. You can sit on the sofa, your bed, have your legs out in front, kneeling, whatever you want. Do not have to be cross-legged. Wonderful. It's just getting nice and comfortable. When you're comfortably seated, just close your eyes. And we're going to finish off with a tiny little meditation. You can have your palms facing up, and you can have your thumb and your next finger just touching, making a circle. And that makes a little mudra that represents never-ending energy. So it's always circling around your body. Or you can have your palms resting down. So whatever you want. And closing your eyes as you're sitting in this position, meditating. Just focus for a minute on your alignment. So as we inhale in, very softly lengthen up through your back so that we feel wonderfully aligned. And then as you exhale, just roll your shoulders down, release with hips and knees and jaw. So we're finding that lightness, that engagement without feeling too tense. Then as you're sitting here, just take your focus to the sound of your breath. As you're inhaling in, drawing it in through your nose. As you exhale, softly blowing it out through your mouth or your nose. And just listening to the sounds. And to begin with, you might hear other sounds around it. Depends how loud your house is, you might hear lots of sounds. But just focus on that breath. Just listening to the breath and the other sounds of the house. And then very slowly allow the sound of the breath to just take over. With every exhalation and inhalation, it gets louder and louder. Overtaking people yelling about breakfast or the dogs whining, cars, whatever you can hear. With every inhalation and exhalation, it just becomes a little bit more consuming, a little bit louder, and it starts to drown out all the other external noises. And just focusing on that softness, almost imagining that you're at the beach and this is all you can hear. The gentle, almost wave-like sounds of your breath. Until eventually nothing else matters. You cannot hear anything else apart from your breath. And just focusing on that I'm going to go quiet for a little moment, just so that you can focus purely on your breath. Wonderful. And then when we're ready, we can keep our eyes closed or you can open them, whatever you want. We're going to come back to the room and we're just going to finish off with a little namaste. So just bringing our hands together in prayer, up to the third eye center for kind thoughts, down to our mouths for kind words, and down to our hearts for kind feelings. Namaste. And thank you guys for joining me for today's morning practice. I hope you all enjoyed it. And I hope you're feeling a little bit looser and nice and refreshed for the rest of the day. And I will see you guys soon. See ya. Bye.